Years ago, I did research for a World War II movie. I came across some old Nazi documents. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
You know what? Spawning in and immediately seeing the lighthouse that you know you'll have to go to and George Romero rising from the ice? Nope. No, but seriously, I really like this starting area. It does give you the impression that yes, you need to go to this lighthouse sooner or later, but then the fog comes rolling in and makes you forget that it's even there. And I also believe this is the first time in Zombies we get the weather system, where it shifts and changes as you're playing the game, which really adds to the ominous tone of this map. And back then during Black Ops 1, you would always try to go to where the mystery box is, and whenever the fog rolled in and you couldn't really see it, it really added a bit of a shift to the way you played the game. And as with all Black Ops 1 maps, the M14 and the Olympia do return and make an appearance. On this map, they put the M14 closer to where you spawn in because they know that's the one you're going to choose. And also in the spawn, and in fact all over the map, we do have icy water, which is a new mechanic they introduced into the game, where if you stand in it for a bit too long, you would genuinely freeze and not be able to see anymore. Or alternatively, if you kill zombies inside of it, they would just explode or shatter or turn into these little icebergs. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm giving the ice a win. Yeah, it's a new mechanic that makes you play the game differently. It's something that I really thrive off of whenever it happens in Zombies. Okay, fine. I have not spoken about George yet. Let me get into that now. This guy is just a straight up menace. You can kill him by all accounts. He has a ridiculously high health barrier, but you can kill him. But it's actually better to just avoid him entirely. He will follow you around the map consistently. He will never stop doing that. And the thing is, he's not even that much of a threat. He's only a threat when you shoot him and make him angry, in which he will become this Element 115 rage monster. But let's say you don't want him to be that rage monster anymore. All you have to do is take him for a nice ice cold bath and he'll go back to normal. See, the icy water's not all bad. But then, like I said, there is also the alternative. You can kill him, and it is going to take you a very long time. But if you do succeed in doing so, you will get a death machine, you will get an extra perk bottle, which can take you past the 4 perk limit. And also, George will stop chasing you for a period of time. Now, there's a chance that you're wondering at this point in time, why is George so special? Well, this whole map is built around the idea of Call of the Dead. The whole intro cutscene actually makes jokes about this, where they're about to get attacked by zombies and then George is saying they're not zombie enough. It's actually a really funny cutscene, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But what makes George Romero special is that he built the blueprint behind what zombies would be back in 1968, when the movie Night of the Living Dead was introduced to the world. Night of the Living Dead would introduce us to the classic rules of zombies, such as getting bitten and being infected, reanimating the dead, barricading up windows and shooting and stabbing through them. Every single trope you know about zombies probably came from George Romero. So if there ever was going to be a zombie boss that was over the top and ridiculous, it would have to be him. And before I finish off glazing on George Romero, I also have to give a win for the fact that the weapon he's using is an electrified stage light. I love the idea at some point somebody was looking at this map and they were like, what should we do for door buys on this map? And someone went, boats. Just put boats everywhere. I don't usually give this a win, but I'm gonna for this map. Having a directional lighting towards where the power switch is essential for this map, because if you go left from spawn, you will not get to the power switch for a very long time. But if you take the path right towards the boat, you will end up at the power really quickly. And once you turn on the power for the whole area will turn on, including the lighthouse. And if you pay attention to where the lighthouse is shining its light at, you will find Pack-a-Punch, which, although a very cool way of unlocking and finding Pack-a-Punch, I hate when Pack-a-Punch moves location, so this is losing a win also. Now, we've covered what happens if you go right on this map, but what if you decide to go left from spawn instead? You'll get to go through this cave that is very memorable to me for some reason, I'm not sure why. And also you'll get to this part where there's a flare that's lighting up the rest of the cave. For some reason when I think of Call of the Dead, I think about this small little cave every time. And additionally in this cave, another mechanic came in which zombies could attack you from the ceiling. There's actually a few of these little flares around the map and they really help in directional lighting. When it's really foggy, you can see through it and still see these little flames. But anyway, as I said, following the left path, you will eventually come across the lighthouse. And the lighthouse is pretty much the main spectacle of this map, and it feels so cool when you first go in it and you've got this big spirally staircase, the floor is frozen over with this ice that's stopping you from getting to the bottom level. I just feel like it's a very nice locale to be able to open up a lighthouse and just go exploring inside it, because it's something I've never done in real life. And if you make your way to the top of the lighthouse, you'll actually come across Deadshot Daiquiri, with its first appearance ever in Zombies. I'm only going to talk about Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 3 specifically here, but what Deadshot did is that it would completely remove weapon sway when aiming down sight, reduce weapon spread by 35%, and if you were using a console or controller, you would have an aim assist lock-on directly to the head. Also, the perk machine is literally a Deadshot daiquiri. Now, this is something I noticed when I was making a video, but it seems like Call of the Dead has specifically placed its perks in the places you most likely need them. And I only noticed that when I thought Deadshot is on the top of a lighthouse, where most people would be able to aim with like a sniper or something. Like you have Quick Revive that's surrounded by the icy waters where you are likely to die, or Juggernog down this corridor that's in tightly contained areas. Even PhD Flopper happens to be right next to where everybody starts belly flopping. Or for some reason the fact that Stamina Up is all the way at the back of the map in an area you would never ever really need to go to. But it's far enough away that Stamina Up becomes useful. Whee! Sorry, no, there was context to that. You have to go really fast down this slide to get to Speed Cola too, so that's fitting. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What about double tap? It's Black Ops 1, no one cares about double tap, that's why they hit it at the back of the boat. I don't think it's been mentioned yet, but this is the first map that was ever set in the snow. There's been quite a few over the years, and at some point people are like, oh, there's too many snow maps, but this was the first one, so it gets a win. And if I'm entirely honest with you, I'm a huge fan of them in the first place. The way like the snow is coming down all the times, or the way the icicles are all stuck onto everything that you can see, all these blood-frozen staircases that are all over the place. I think any map can be improved by just adding snow and ice everywhere. I do quite like the meta nature of having these little areas that say closed set when you go up to them because the map isn't fully opened yet. But once you turn the power on, these become zip lines that you can use at any point by just jumping onto them. I'm assuming you're using your hand because you don't really get a device to do it, so I'm really worried what their hands look like after using these in the cold, but And obviously, just to point it out, it is a form of new transversal system, so it does get an extra win for that alone. I could not tell you how many times I've had to use these to quickly go and revive someone. I wonder how many people went to go and buy this wall buy and then were surprised at the fact it just got yeeted straight into the sky. Also, another transversal system. Returning on this map is the Matryoshka dolls, which are actually really beneficial on this map because they can help deal with George with so much ease it's unbelievable. Call of the Dead then features 2 wonder weapons you can get from the box, which is very unlike any other map previously where you could only ever get one if we discount the ray gun. The first one of the 2 I'll talk about is the VR11, which if you've played solo you'll probably know is not the greatest. It pretty much just turns one guy into a short-range monkey bomb that can sometimes affect George, and then they run into the icy water and die. Now, the reason it lost a win there is because it's not truly a wonder weapon in the sense that it doesn't do much as a weapon. But that's not to say it's bad, and I'm going to tell you why. When it's in its pack-punch state, it is capable of completely calming down George without the use of water. And when upgraded, the humans also have the ability to distract George as well. One of the lesser known effects that it has as well is if you shoot a zombie 3 times with the upgraded version, it will explode and kill all zombies around it. Now there's a reason this doesn't get added to the win counter as wonder weapon kills, which is that it has to be 1 shot for it to count, based on my made up rules that I've just made up now. But it's cool, so I'll give it a win. And the other secret effect to it is, if you use it on George while he is already in the water, he will just go away for a little while. It's one of the ways that you can make sure that George is not just harassing you and surprising you and running around the map. Now, in a co-op game, that's where this weapon truly comes into play. It has 2 effects that you can really use with it. The first one is if you shoot another player with it, they will be ignored by zombies temporarily, which would make it very easy to go and revive people during this time. Or the second huge effect that this gun had in co-op was if you shot a player while it was upgraded, they got insta-kill temporarily. This was one of the only ways that Call of the Dead was ever able to do any sort of high round strats, and it's why the co-op was always higher than the single player. So although it wasn't exactly the greatest of wonder weapons, as a utility, it was probably one of the coolest things they've ever added. And the lore surrounding the name, I'll go into a little bit later. Next up, we have a fan favourite, the Scavenger, the first ever sniper rifle wonder weapon.
Put you in your place, didn't I?
I absolutely love the idea of this thing. It's an explosive sniper rifle, and when it goes off, it does this little boom before it explodes all the zombies into tiny little pieces. I f***ing love this weapon. It's so good and just so enjoyable to use. And to confirm, it pretty much disintegrates the whole zombies and just leaves their limbs all over the place. It's disgusting. And now I get to the part where I give out wins for the amount of kills a single shot from the wonder weapon can do. Now the VR11 gets 1 because it literally can only do 1 with a single shot at a time, which is kind of funny. Whereas the Scavenger can technically take out an entire horde even if it's not great in the later rounds, so it'll get 24 for that. This map is also the second map ever to have its own opening cinematic after 5, and it introduces you to the characters you'll play as in this map But more importantly, it seems to be the first ever truly celebrity-based map, where you get to play as Michael Rooker, Robert Englung, Danny Trejo, and Sarah Michelle Gellar. If you're not exactly sure who these actors are, let me take you back a little bit. Robert Englung played Freddy Krueger, one of horror's biggest characters by far. Or Sarah Michelle Gellar, who played Buffy the Vampire Slayer, something very iconic for our horror TV culture. And Michael Rooker, who has been in many different horror movies over the years, but most noticeably his role as Merle in The Walking Dead is probably the most relevant here. And then Danny Trejo has been in so many different variations of horror movies, ranging from zombies to vampires. He is iconic within the horror scene just as much as he is Mache. And then it sort of starts going a bit wrong when a zombie takes over and actually enters the set.
For God's sakes, he missed me again!
Get back to hair and makeup. You don't look dead enough.
If you happen to have never watched the Call of the Dead intro cutscene, I probably would recommend it. It's quite an entertaining one, so yeah. And as with every zombie map moving forward, it has a music Easter egg on it, but this one is special for a different reason. It's the first time there is a collaboration between Avenged Sevenfold and Zombies, and let me tell you, this is a great song. And sadly, I have had to remove the music from this section. I did create a really silly montage that you can see in the background to the song, but I uploaded the video and it got copyright strike straight away, so I didn't want to include it, just out of the simple fact that it would leave a little strike on my channel. I hope you understand and enjoy the really stupid edits that are going on in the background right now, but it is what it is. Just to confirm, the song is called Not Ready to Die by Avenged Sevenfold. If you want to go listen to it, feel free. It is genuinely a really good song. I'm just going to yap for a few seconds here simply because I don't want to re-edit the whole video to pull everything to the left. And funnily enough, this is not the only Avenged Sevenfold Easter egg in this map. If you go underneath PhD Flopper, on the wall you'll find a poster with the members of Avenged Sevenfold with a Russian text that says The Avenged over it. But more importantly, in this room also is a big metal door, and this metal door is how you start the main Easter egg quest. If you go up to it and knife it, you will begin this journey of absolute insanity of voice lines from the Ultimus crew that you will never have expected in a million years. And usually I go through the map's audio and just list out all the wins I think are relevant to the character's dialogue. In this case, I'm going to change it up and do it to every bit of dialogue behind this door.
Ah! I'm blind! I'm blind! In my eyes! Holy shitballs. Me too. What did you do, Richtofen?
I did nothing. There's a light switch. Oh, I think I found a lever. Perhaps this will turn on the light.
No! Ah! Let go! That's not a lever! Richtofen!
Shh! Did you hear that?
Oh, sounded like someone outside. Hey, you! Hey! I need vodka!
Hello? Can you help us? There must be a blown fuse or something. It's dark in here.
Oh, man.
Now, I absolutely loved the entire fact of having the Ultimus crew stuck inside this little cupboard the entire time. It gave an opportunity for the characters to interact and talk with each other properly, and you got to hear their true personalities shining through. It was something that we never really had. Like, yeah, they still had these little bits of dialogue when they played in maps together, such as in Kino or Ascension, but nothing quite like what we got from this door. Somehow, the Ultimus crew not being the main crew for the map actually added way more character development than anything else that's ever happened in Zombies.
Ah, much better. Now I can see the problem. We must have gone too far into the future. Look, the teleporter's completely broken. The time circuits are damaged. We'll have to reroute them.
Wait! You took us here on purpose? Where are we?
A better question, Dempsey.
Oh, look at this blinky light! What's this button do?
Nikolai! No! Ah, great, Nikolai. You've just activated the MTD security system.
Good.
Excuse me. You're outside. Yeah. The handsome one. We need you to locate the power sources of the security system. They look like little half domes with a hole on top. Kinda like a big... Forget it. If you destroy those, it should shut down the security system.
And one thing I really loved about this Easter egg was that it was quite literally telling you what to go and do if you were listening hard enough. Like, he's telling you right now there are some big flashing dicks out there and you need to go look for them. And also, it totally explains this random room that has absolutely nothing in it behind Stamina. You had to go there for a reason, and this was the reason.
Okay, that did the trick.
Ah, yes. Takeo, can you hand me that screwdriver?
Okay, ew.
Is that all he's going to do this trip?
Oh, I have such a headache. I need vodka. Now ain't the time for drinking, Nikolai. I heartily disagree. Now is perfect time for drinking.
Yeah, vodka. That might give me the distraction I mean, good idea.
See, Tank? It's always good time for drinking, eh?
There couldn't possibly be anything left to drink anywhere, could there?
And then finally, there is a reason to get vodka in this game. I feel like they were waiting for this moment to put an Easter egg step in where you had to get vodka for some reason, and they finally did it.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much.
Come on, rectal fan. It's singing time.
I feel like dancing with third wife, but she's doing the troika with death.
Wait, isn't the troika that dance that needs 3 people?
Yeah, but third wife, big woman. She could do both parts.
Ew.
I lie in bed, I just roll toward her, you know. Takeo, let's dance, you barfing fool.
So now that they're occupied, I was wondering, could you do a special errand for me? I need you to retrieve a very important device. It looks like a long, stiff, hard golden rod. With fingers on the end. Oh, delightful. But it will take an art critic to find the right path.
All the Ultimus crew are now just drunk, and Takeo will not stop throwing up. This is peak.
Kinda sick that I have to ask this, but Richtofen, is that a rod in your pocket?
9. Let's go. I've got us what we needed.
Yeah, drunk.
Thank you so much for your help out there. Bye-bye.
Hey, what happened?
Should I get out and push?
The fuse box must have shorted out again.
Oh, come on! This better be more rewarding than last time. Stupid Gersh.
Vodka!
Honestly, every single moment inside this little cupboard they're in is amazing. They all got ridiculously drunk, Richtofen's on his little secret plans, the machine just stops working, and then Dempsey talks about how the last reward you got from Gersh was ridiculously shit, being just a death machine.
Thank you again, stranger. Perhaps we will see you another time. Ah, that's what you get for eating raw fish.
And there we go, Easter egg is complete. I thought I'd try something a little bit different for this one and not do the character dialogues because I thought that these little cupboard skits were so much better than dialogue in the map. That's not to discredit any of the celebrity characters in any way, it's just the Ultimus crew in this were genuinely at their peak.
For the love of Richtofen! Just because the lights ain't on doesn't mean I can't kick your ass. Now get your finger out of mine!
So that last dialogue from Tank right there was actually an additional dialogue you can get when you knife the door when you haven't completed an Easter egg step. You can get loads of these, so I won't put them all in videos, but if you're ever bored, just keep knifing that door and enjoy.
Sure! Why wouldn't we help some evil-sounding stranger while we're busy fighting zombies?
Although I am sneaking this one in because I absolutely love that this is the first line the characters say when you start talking to the door. You may have actually noticed you did get a different reward. Although it was a death machine drop, you got the Wonderwaff, and from this point forward after you've completed the Easter egg, you will always get a Wonderwaff drop every time you get a death machine. Honestly, I wish they put more little things at the end of Easter eggs like this. Getting a Wonderwaff as an upgraded power-up is just something more interesting than typically getting a Perkaholic. Now, I'm going to try and go into the lore a little bit for the end of this video. Call of the Dead has a unique place in the story where you're kind of thrown into it with these celebrity characters, but there was actually a test facility that was originally set in these mountains, which you will later see in Tag the Totem, but it's where Group 935 did many of the experiments on the Ultimus crew. Now, if you go through the radios and stuff like that that are around the map, you will hear everything about Richtofen's experiments that he was doing at this location. These radios actually highlight a lot about the story that you weren't aware of, such as all the experimentations they were doing on the Ultimus crew was essentially trying to make them into like super soldiers. Or, for example, where Tank came into the story of the Rook to come and rescue Peter McCain, or who Pablo Marinus was, the first experiment test subject. There's so many little details in these radios that went on to project into the rest of the storyline, and they are really worth a listen. But if we want to go down into the lore even more, this is kind of where Keepers came into the story to an extent. The whole purpose of getting the Golden Rod here, or the Vril device, was that the Vril were an ancient alien race and it was believed that they were here at some point in time. Even the context behind the boat that's crashed here was carrying cargo of Apothecum blood to this location, specifically for more experimentation. And it's also believed that this site takes place somewhere near the Siberia Tunguska event. It makes a lot of sense that within the context of the story that Element 115 would have been that same meteorite that came down to Earth. And if you look at the map on Tag the Totem, you do have caves that are just filled to the absolute brim with 115. And that noise you heard just there was actually the noise that you hear when you complete the Easter egg behind this door. It's a hint to Shangri-La, and it's not the only one. If you look at the loading screen for this map in the top right corner, you can also see it too. I really like that they tried to sneak these little things in there to hint at what you were going to do in the next map. And I totally forgot to mention this before, but this was actually the first case of where you could have a solo Easter egg or a co-op Easter egg. You were able to complete this solo with a load of the steps towards the end that were impossible to do skipped, or you could do it in co-op where it was a lot more tedious and way more confusing. But funnily enough, the Easter eggs did carry over and were necessary for future Easter eggs also. And I know there are definitely other things I could probably mention about this map. There's always something I've missed, and I've always got friends telling me that. But I'm going to close out the video with one of my favourite things ever put into zombies, another thing from behind this door.
Oh, 99 shots of vodka, 99 shots of glee. We drink for fun. It's better than rum. 99 shots of vodka for me. 98 shots of vodka, 98 shots of glee. We drink for fun. It's better than rum. 98 shots of vodka for me. 96 shots of vodka. Oh, come on. You lost count again, you dumbass. Now we gotta start again all over. I don't like math.